Hello.
Summer Lane, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm just fine.
Oh, good. You can hear me. Okay.
Oh yeah, very good audio quality, and a
Good.
very impressive office.
Oh, yeah. I cleaned it just for you.
Ah, well, well, thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks for having me today.
My pleasure.
Hey, you here? Yeah, yeah, you're here. You're tuned in to the Paul Leslie Hour on episode number 1037. Okay, folks, what we have today is what we call a returning guest. Some people come on the show and just don't want to come back. And then there are others who are so neat we have to repeat. That's today's guest, Summer Lane. This episode's going to be huge. Now, Summer Lane is a brilliant writer, and she's also the editor-in-chief of Right Revolution News. She's been covering the 2024 election intensely, as well as other political subjects. Summer Lane joins us today only 5 days from America's ultimate election. And speaking of we'd really love it if you subscribe to Paul's YouTube channel. And sharing this interview's a great way to help. Hey, look, the clock. It's time to go. So, come on, let's go.
I'm going to get right into it because this is a busy time for both of us. I'm sitting down with Summer Lane, writer, and now I can add editor-in-chief of Right Revolution News. I think sometimes when something affects you emotionally, you should get right into it. So I would like to talk about something that I saw this morning, and it upset me. I'm not going to deny it. It was a commercial put out by Kamala Harris and her side, let's just call them, and it shows a husband and wife who are going to a polling station together. And the idea of the commercial basically is that if you're a husband and wife, there should be things you shouldn't talk about. In the commercial, the woman hides the fact that she's actually going to vote for Kamala Harris. Now, the reason that perhaps this hits me isn't for what the Democrats would say is affecting me. I'm disgusted by the idea that they would attempt to divide a husband and wife wherever they are in the country. And I'd just like to get your take on that. In addition to being a writer and a journalist, you're also a wife and mother. What do you think of that commercial?
I think it shows that their campaign is in free fall. I think it shows that they're failing and they know that they're losing the female vote, despite what the mainstream media may say. Women do like President Trump because they know he's going to keep us safe. One of the number one issues that we have in America today is illegal immigration. And we know for a fact that illegal immigration is driving crime up everywhere and even the most red and safe states. So women are going to be voting for Trump. Obviously, whether they do that loudly or quietly, it doesn't matter. They will be voting for Trump. And I think that frightens the Kamala Harris campaign because really that's the only voting bloc that she should have locked down. And I think she's lost it because she's a weak candidate. And so they're encouraging women to sort of bifurcate from their husbands because they know that women will be voting for Trump. And so they're trying to paint husbands as being perhaps misogynistic or ridiculous or clownish. And it's really, number one, it's offensive to men and it's offensive to women. It's assuming that we are so dumb that we will vote for a candidate simply because of her gender. That should be offensive to women everywhere. And I just think it shows that the Kamala Harris Tim Walz campaign is failing very badly.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I've never heard anybody put it that way. And I have to say, the idea of them doing that, it fired me up so much. I mean, I just thought you really, I thought it wouldn't be possible, but you've sunk to a new low.
They seem to do that every day. They're calling garbage now. I mean, they've called us a lot of things. I've been called a lot of things, but they just don't care. They have no shame. They are so desperate. They are losing so badly, much, much more badly than what's being shown in the polls. I think you and I and every American that's kind of looking at the energy of these Trump rallies and looking at the destruction of the economy, looking at the global world stage, we do not want Kamala Harris in the White House. Nobody wants Kamala Harris in the White House. So I think really what this comes down to is they are just so afraid because they're about to lose power. They know it, and they will say or do anything to hang on to what they have.
Well, Summer, we can count on one hand now the number of full days until the election.
Yep.
It's coming right up. What are you seeing and what are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I feel a lot better now than I did in 2020. 2020 was permeated with a lot of fear because of COVID. They were scaring everybody. People are afraid to go out. There were a lot more of the mail in ballot situation going on. We've dealt with a lot of that since 2020. What I'm seeing now is historically high polling and projections for President Trump higher than 2016, higher than 2020. And of course, he did phenomenally well in 2020, but this is beyond that. This is like potentially Reagan level election here is the numbers that I'm seeing. Internal polling is even better than what they're allowing us to see. Even the public polls, I was looking at some this morning. I'm seeing early votes. Republicans are leading in blue states like New Hampshire, New Jersey. I mean, this has not been done in decades. So if we can keep
Well,
the momentum up, I think we're in a really, really good position. But of course, I'm cautious and never cocky because the left is dirty and they cheat like hell, as President Trump likes to say. And we all know that they do it. And I think I was reading a statistic that said about 80% of Republicans believe that cheating affected the 2020 election, and a large number of Democrats as well. Most Americans in general know that there's something going on with our election system. So I like to keep just a modicum of caution available because I think we just have to keep exposing anything that we see that might be shady, might be murky. But I do believe that President Trump has a very good legal team likely lined up to fight this thing out in the court because I do think it will be contested by the Democrats. I think they're going to screech and scream. They're going to try to, do whatever they can to sort of tilt the scales in their favors, if you will. I don't think they'll be successful because I think this time we're going into this election with our eyes wide open and we're not willing to give up our country. We want our country back. And so I feel very, very optimistic, a little bit of caution, but very optimistic. I'm very encouraged by what I'm seeing so far.
you win some and you lose some. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you think that there's something that's a loss, it's actually a win. So what I'm talking about here today, Arnold Schwarzenegger, former governor of California, also an actor, he has said that he's endorsing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. On the other hand, Buzz Aldrin, one of human beings on Earth to stand on the face of the moon, he has endorsed Donald Trump. Who do you think got the better endorsement here?
I think it's obvious that Buzz Aldrin's endorsement is much better. I stopped listening to anything Arnold Schwarzenegger had to say when he told Americans that they could, quote, screw your freedom during the COVID pandemic. So even if I had any shred of respect for him, because I always thought he was a rhino to begin with. So, I mean, that's like a nothing burger endorsement. Kamala Harris, she can only get the celebrities to endorse her, and the celebrities are being told to endorse her. They have to. If they don't, they get, lambasted or ostracized from Hollywood. They just, there's no energy there. Like I watched the Beyonce appearance the other day. What a lame endorsement that was. She didn't even sing, didn't even perform. People out in the crowd were booing. I mean, the people showed up for Beyonce. They didn't show up for Kamala Harris. The best that they can do are these celebrities that kind of used to be idolized, and people don't respect celebrities anymore. They're tired of being talked down to by these people. So definitely Trump got the better endorsement, and he's had better endorsements all across the board. He has Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Dennis Quaid. I just saw him speak a couple of weeks ago in California. Pretty much every single Republican has come around to our side as well, barring Liz Cheney, but who cares about her because she's a loser. So I mean, this is very historic. President Trump has created the unity party. We are saying goodbye to the uniparty and saying hello to the unity party. This is very historic, and this gives him unprecedented momentum and power.
And as it's been said, and as you're saying, who do you want to roll with? Do you want to be on the side of Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., all these other people, talented and intelligent, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dick Cheney, and Liz Cheney?
Yeah. True enough. True enough. Who wants to be associated with them because they're losers and everybody knows it? And I mean that in a very literal way. These people are losers. They have not helped our country. They have not enriched our country. They have not protected our people. All they have done is gotten us into endless wars, or they have talked down to us, or they have taken something from us. People are so tired of that. They want to change. And I immensely respect people like RFK Jr. reaching across the aisle and joining with us in this movement. There is so much power in that. And that has got to scare the Democrats because they don't have that kind of love and that kind of unity on their side. And they never will.
Another thing that's been in the news lately, and I think that there's a bigger story under it, and that would be the Joe Rogan podcast. I will admit, I'm one of the last people on earth. I have not watched or listened to it. I've been so busy.
No.
I'm going to, but I've been so busy creating content that I haven't had a chance to, but I plan on it, possibly tonight. So Kamala has said that she agrees to the podcast, but she has her own terms. She's not able, I guess, to keep the terms or the conditions that Trump was able to keep. In spite of his busy schedule, he was able to sit down for a 3-hour interview and go to Texas to do it.
Yeah.
Well, she has special rules, I guess, for how she wants to be interviewed. What do you think's going on here?
I think she's not leadership material. If she can't handle that, is she going to be able to sit down with, Vladimir Putin for 3 hours and negotiate? Is she going to be able to go to the Middle East? Is she going to be able to go to China and go talk to Xi? Is she going to be able to negotiate anything with Kim Jong-un of North Korea? The answer is absolutely not. If she can't even handle Joe Rogan, what a joke. Trump sat there for a 3-hour interview. She probably can't handle more than 20 minutes. We saw what happened when she went on Fox News with Brett Baier, and he totally dismantled her. And he did that not by being a mean journalist, just by asking her normal softball questions about her policies. She's not capable of answering. She's confused. She slurs her words. She comes across as a heavily unconfident person, like she's very afraid. I don't get the sense that she even wants to be doing this. She was installed. She knows it. She probably knows she's going to lose. She wants it to be over as quickly as possible. So she's hiding because she's embarrassed.
I like that take very much. I'm also seeing a bit of, she has this feeling like, I'm the queen. You come to me. And, I keep thinking, you're applying to work for us.
Yeah.
We don't work for you. Joe Rogan doesn't work for you. He has the number 1 platform in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she has an elitist mentality. She's not a person of the people. She exists above us. She is, like you said, the queen. And President Trump, that's where he's so different. He's a man of the people. He's always worked with hardworking blue collar Americans. He's an entrepreneur. He's a real estate developer. He likes talking to real people. Genuinely, you can see that when he goes out and talks to people at these cool campaign stops that he does, like when he was at McDonald's and all this cool stuff. Kamala can't do that. She can't genuinely connect with people. She has not really had to work very hard for what she's for the position that she has. Everything has kind of just been foisted upon her. She's kind of just along for the ride. So it makes sense that she's not confident enough to carry out any of these interviews unless all of these conditions are met, because only within those conditions is she comfortable enough to proceed forward. But apply any type of pressure from any direction that she's not anticipating, she completely falls apart because she's a weak and very poorly spoken candidate.
This is America's ultimate election. We are just days away now. What is your prediction for this 2024 election, if you had to guess?
My prediction is that Trump will win. I don't think there's any way of stopping it. He said many, many times, that if any of your listeners have watched any Trump rallies or speeches, he often uses the phrase, let's make it too big to rig. There is much truth in that. there is only so much that they can do and only so much that they can mess with. If we come out in numbers at the polls, they really can't stop us. So you're going to see shenanigans. You're going to see some headlines or some stuff on social media. Oh, they're stealing the vote, whatever. The people are going to be talking about stuff. Don't get scared. Hold steady. We've been through this before, but we're wiser now. The most important thing, of course, is for people to pray for his safety. I think President Trump has spoken about this a couple of times. I think he said, I don't know which speech exactly, but the most dangerous time for a country will be between November 5th and January 20th. That window of time is when there's going to be probably a lot of chaos. I don't know what's going to happen, but I anticipate something. So just hold steady and stay confident. And I think President Trump is ready for whatever they're going to throw at him. So, the concern that I have is that we have 21 million illegals here who could do us tremendous harm. Who knows what they're here for? So that, again, that time period between November 5th and January 20th, we don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be a little bit of dicey, but prayer is essential. Courage is absolutely a must. But I think with God's help and a lot of hard work on the part of good American patriots, I think we're going to bring home a big win. President Trump will become only the second president to win the second non-consecutive term. And he did it against a massive machine. And it is going to be unbelievable. And we're going to make America great again.
And that machine you speak of, it is fascinating. It's disturbing to me. But if you're aware and you're paying attention, you can see those wheels grinding to try and do whatever possible to stop. They're so, they love to use this word democracy.
Yeah.
They hate democracy. That much is becoming so clear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're evil people. There's no other way to say it. And when I talk about them, I'm talking about the leadership, not the American people or even their supporters. I'm talking about these elitists who think they're better than us and who have been operating by stealing our money, sending it to other countries, laundering it and putting it into their own pocket. These people are nasty. And the reason why they are fighting so hard is because they've gained so much power and they just don't want to give it up. And evil people never want to give it up. But Americans, we are built differently. And President Trump is the man in the arena. He was made for such a time as this. I believe God saved his life in July so that he could help save our country. And I hope that God will have mercy on us and that we will win big. I believe we will, but only with God's help. That's the only way. And I think President Trump has even acknowledged that a few times, especially since Butler. I think even he sees that it's only with God's help has he been able to survive what they have done to him over the last couple of years.
I want to encourage everybody, go to Right Revolution News, and that's WRITE, Right Revolution News. Also follow on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Right Rev News. So what is coming up in the future for Right Revolution News?
Oh my goodness. I have a lot going on because of the election. I am trying to cover every single rally. That's kind of my specialty. I do a lot of rally coverage. I like to cover President Trump's policies. And then, of course, I have columnists and then the occasional guest editorial, just like you. And then I also have just special editorials that I write myself. Hopefully I'll be expanding a little bit more over the winter, but I can't really say what I'm going to be doing yet. But I do a lot of exclusive interviews with conservatives, with patriots, with creators, with artists, anybody who loves this country and is producing good, clean, honest work. I like to feature them. So I've featured New York Times bestselling author Lee Smith. I've featured congressional candidate Abe Hamadeh in Arizona. Lots of really cool people like that. And then on Friday and Monday, I'm going to be having a two-part special with retired Lieutenant Colonel John Mills, who's going to be talking about the Chinese incursion here on American soil and the deep state, and also election integrity. So those are going to be really, really fun features. And I'm doing stuff like that every single day. So just constantly putting stuff out there, constantly interviewing people. And if you like good America First coverage, totally independent, unfiltered, Right Revolution News, that's the place to go, because I've tried to create a platform that really gives people a chance to speak the truth.
Summer Lane, thank you so much for spending time with us. Great great takes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. All right. God bless you and God bless your family.
Same to you.
All right. Till next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You know, the Paul Leslie Hour is made possible by people like you, listeners, viewers. Please go to thepaulleslie.com/support, and you'll know what to do when you're there. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who contributes. Performance of The Entertainer intro song by John Primorano. And of course, this is your announcer speaking. See you next time on the Paul Leslie Hour.